Why don't you see if you can demonstrate me wrong about this top 5 list scaring you enough to keep you from finishing? Number 5. In October of 2017, a Canadian YouTuber named MOUSSI began to experience supernatural problems in his home that were out of the ordinary, such as spirit sightings and hearing voices. Something is in his house with him that he cannot watch and wishes to be removed. MOUSSI seems to be playing a PS4 game with his brother one afternoon when the television begins to act up in a way that has become far too common recently.
And it's really weird, like, he's been telling me it's been happening all day.
Someone could have simply used a remote to turn it off. Even though his brother Joe isn't taking the remote, MOUSSI might be. However, I don't believe that it was either of them since the television appears to have been unplugged despite the fact that they were both across the room.
Guys, what the f? This is what I'm saying! Disconnected again! What's going on?
And if you look again at 423, you might be able to notice the tiniest orb pass by his wrist. Because this was made in October, I assumed it was a Halloween video or something. However, MOUSSI's paranormal issues persisted well into November. That's when it made its way into his room. He says that he can't sleep since he feels as though something is keeping an eye on him.
Guys, I don't know what's going on. There's just something preventing me.
There are bags under his eyes at 1 minute and 30 seconds that were not observable in the foregoing video from a week ago, so I see no reason not to believe what he says.
I was tired. I was like, yeah, you can see bags under my eyes because I get really tired at my house.
He currently plans to clean the room after days of not sleeping. MOUSSI combines a special root with different household ingredients to create a powdery substance that is thought to ward off spirits. Surprisingly, the sound on his camera stops suddenly and this orb seems just outside of his room, implying that what he's about to do may have some value after all. I believe that it's fascinating how the sound cuts out again here, almost as if the spirits would not like to hear him bring to an end what he's saying.
Demons, be gone.
It could also have been a technical issue with uploading the video to YouTube. In any case, after the exorcism, he looks forward to until 3 a.m. before declaring that everything is fine. However, he didn't wait long enough.
Free me from all this. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Did you guys hear that?
This is what takes place 5 minutes after 3 o'clock in the morning. I really hoped that he'd thrown open the door here so we could see what was on the other side for ourselves. The fact that he waits nearly a minute gets me to wonder if it was his nerves betraying him or if he was just stalling to give his friends time to get off camera. Even though there is nothing in the other room, if he would like to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that his house was spooked, he should have swallowed his fear and opened the door a little sooner. I suppose it's easier said than done. MOUSSI eventually relocated 2 years later. When he and Hype Mike are paying a visit to their new home, it becomes clear that his paranormal problems are far from over.
It's obviously Mike. Nick. Whoa!
Although the knock comes from at the back of him, there is not anyone that is there. Nevertheless, there is a tiny hooded figure in the mirror, or perhaps it is just the top of Hypermike's hat. When they examine the camera, the image gets more distorted by what I believe is paranormal energy from the same ghost as before. It has discovered their new address and wishes to enter. They seem to catch someone running up the stairs at 8 minutes and 27 seconds. After that, they watch it on another monitor just outside their door before the screen goes blank. And that's when what took place at 3 a.m. in MOUSSI's old house repeats itself. The door somehow was closed despite the fact that they're on the side with a lock, so it's either paranormal or oversight in their skit. But when they showed it, I was a little disappointed. Even though I'm sorry, I turned down to believe that this person dressed entirely in black spandex is a ghost. Therefore, I'm not convinced. However, that doesn't mean the videos in his old house weren't real, or that this wasn't an insane fan who knew their address. Number 4. Annie Bennett and her sweetheart transmigrate to this old farmhouse 2.5 years ago and have been having weird occurrences ever since, especially in this blue dining room. Even though the instruments have a tendency to play on their own over time, for some reason, this piano has attracted all of the attention lately, so that's where they make up their mind to set up the camera. Part 1 is 10 minutes long and slow enough to give rise to some provoking comments from people who are too quick-tempered to watch it all the way through. However, there are a few highlights that I would like to bring to the fore. For example, at 4:17, there is a weird light on the wall for no apparent reason. It appears not to be a laser pointer, and it never happens again. After that, the clock strikes 2:19 a.m. and the door mysteriously opens. Even though I don't see any string or other way for them to have carried about this, perhaps you do. I take for granted that now is a good time to tell you more about the history of this farmhouse. There used to be an elderly lady who lived alone in this house. She passed away at 2:19 a.m. according to their word. It is believed that she has been musically talented. Also, at 2:19, the Spencer piano appears to play by itself. So this high note comes from a key that isn't even visible on camera. Annie or her sweetheart must be sitting off to the side. At least, that's what I believed until I read the next section. So, that's not supposed to take place. It seems that I'm thinking the piano wires are worn out and become older and older, which can sometimes cause a note to play by itself. However, I don't think that's the case because nothing like this took place for 10 minutes. This tray and clock are both moving at the same time. Sure, even though one of them could have pulled the tray by the off-camera corner, the way the clock opens is a mystery to me. And when the night progresses, the spirit grows more powerful, allowing it to play more. Please let me know that this piano is one of the fogey kinds that can play on its own. If not, I don't know how this is even possible. Even if it can play by itself, I have never watched a piano perform at 5 minutes and 49 seconds. Self-playing, perhaps. Self-shutting, no way, no how. I predict that Annie could have closed the lid while not being seen. However, after this reflection fades away, as if someone is sitting down, I can safely say I've exhausted all reasonable explanations and must conclude that this is paranormal. And it doesn't matter whether someone is sitting off camera or not, they can't play the piano with the lid on. I can't make clear half of these paranormal occurrences, so I'm forced to come to the conclusion that this farmhouse is almost certainly spooked by someone who turns down to accept their death. Number 3. If you've been seeing frightening countdown videos for a while, you've probably seen this video at some point. What other channels don't tell you is that there's another 2 months worth of proof to go through. However, firstly, watch this viral video of the decisive first meeting. On May 3, 2011, they see a weird man they've never seen before standing outside the apartment of a YouTuber named Andrew J. Nice. Andrew and his sweetheart do what most people would do, they call for assistance.
And he's just like looking up at the window. He's been there for about 30 minutes now. Yeah, male, maybe about, I don't know, maybe about 30, I guess? I can't tell.
Here is the beginning phone call with the authorities. Let me know if you believe it's true. There seems never to be an actual voice on the other end of the line, which leads me to believe it is staged, and I thought 911 operators were taught to stay on the line until police arrived.
Okay.
That is not the case here. In any case, even though most channels stop there, this is only the beginning. What most people don't realize is that his sweetheart called 911 again the next night on May 4th. Let me know if this second phone call looks legitimate or if they're just pretending to talk to someone who has worked in emergency response.
I'd really like you to do something about it. Yeah, my boyfriend already made a report. We're at there's a parking lot behind our house. Yeah, 6:50. Okay, thanks.
Another night goes through, and the figure reappears, still silent and wide-eyed. This time, Andrew becomes agitated enough to speak up. And take a look at what occurs to the camera when he does.
Hey! Hey!
I don't know what's going on.
At 58 seconds, a red flash takes place, a short electronic distraction possibly caused by an intense wave of emotions, possibly a telekinetic reaction to being yelled at. I only mention this because the same strange red flash occurs 6 days later on May 12th. Except that their stalker does not stay there this time. They simply detect him, and then the flash occurs.
He's not even there!
Alright.
And by June 17th, Andrew's motion sensor camera is constantly zooming in on a figure that simply isn't there. The equipment, in Andrew's words, is having trouble focusing on the same place in which their not-so-secret enthusiast has stood for over a month. Therefore, is Andrew intentionally making it out of focus, or is an unsighted phantom figure standing there as he claims? However, I'm getting ahead of myself by speaking briefly of June's events. That was an especially unsatisfactory month for them, and we're still not done talking about May, specifically, May 8th, when they first began to be inclined to think the perpetrator was supernatural.
Look, he's throwing the window.
Even though his arms are at his sides, something pings off the window.
I don't even see him throwing anything.
Oh my god, but how is he doing that?
And surely, at 1 minute and 6 seconds, there's another strange flash, as if something is feeding off the peak of their fear and growing more powerful. The watcher is no longer content with leering at him from the corner. He now wishes to enter. A month of harassment ends with scraps of paper all saying the same word, hello. This appears to be some kind of psychotic social interactivity for whoever is doing it, a gruesome game they are just starting to play. Time seems to make the man more daring. The tapping seems to be all over their windows by the 20th of June. It's the sound of fingers scraping against the glass, but there's no silhouette to be seen. They're either tapping at the back of the couch or making this noise from the alley outside. A picture of this frightening smiling face with exit out eyes has been left on the window. Only someone who is genuinely interested in tormenting two completely guiltless people would worry to draw it, let alone deliver it in person. Andrew and his sweetheart have no idea they'll be seeing him up close in less than a day. On June 22nd, there are more dabs, which is not unusual at this point, and Andrew's sweetheart goes to the window, thinking no one is there. It seems that he throws open the blinds, still recording to have a proof, and the watcher himself, closer than he has ever been before, waits for her. Even though it is difficult to see, at 47 seconds, he's taking an illustration of the alike grisly face as before, exit out eyes and all, this time with a message saying hello in the same handwriting as the scrap notes left by their door. I suspect that he'll be content with just saying hello for much longer. He'll most likely say goodbye to them soon, just moments before he draws their lives to a close. So, if he's standing outside the house in May and outside their window by June, he'll most likely be standing somewhere inside the house by July. Fortunately, they leave before my theory is put to the test. For the first time in months, they seem to have a secure feeling in a different location with iron bars. However, their hopes for an undisturbed life are dashed on July 1st, when a familiar figure appears. Something doesn't seem right about this extra blurry entrance. And he doesn't seem to so much enter the frame as he does materialize. And, to think about it, I've never seen him move before. When it's time to go, he disappears, leaving only a faint trace as he walks. It appears to able to be the camera or the editing process. Or it could be a real ghost, in which case this could be the final video. However, I suspect that it was their last encounter. Number 2. This video, which was uploaded on October 19, 2018 by a YouTuber named McClellan, has spread across a variety of countdown channels. No matter how many times I've seen this video, no one has ever given McClellan proper credit. Although these channels all say that this video is real, McClellan is a super talented special effects artist who created this 3D model out of a rubber duck. When lightning hits at 1 minute and 5 seconds, you can just create the shape of a rubber duck against the sky. Other than the title of the original posting, which literally refers to it as a Cthulhu rubber duck, there would be nothing to suggest that this was a hoax. I believe a rubber duck is used by McClellan to prove how special effects can be used to make anything scary, including toys. So, if you notice a countdown channel claiming that this video is real, be aware that you are receiving incorrect information for that entry. I simply would like to give credit where it is due. Number 1. Nick, a man from South Jersey, mysteriously vanished in 2010. Mark, his older brother, disappeared shortly after. Their small town was destroyed by these two disappearances in quick succession, and they feared the worst. There was no evidence for police to go on, at least not until a few months later, when one of Nick's high school friends receives this mysterious post office package. Memory cards and hard drives containing hundreds of videos to analyze are included in the package. Surprisingly, the return address was Nick's home, implying that either Nick sent it himself or someone else mailed it on his behalf long after he vanished. Perhaps whoever was in charge sent it. A lot of the videos are representative teen vlogging material from 2010, such as making a sandwich or watching TV, but there are at least 30 videos that contain extremely blood-curdling information about his whereabouts, or should I say possible remains. Let's go back and retrace Nick's steps. Nick walks to the ill-famed haunted Pleasant Mills Cemetery in Batstow, New Jersey, on September 3, 2010 to watch what he can discover. On the other side of a stale bridge in the woods, he notices some 1800s burial markers and an old church that creeps him out. But no matter what he thinks he sees while standing on this bridge is what scares him the most. This is where it is said that voices can be heard on the water from time to time. Please notify me if you see anything. To be honest, I don't see anything out of the ordinary, but there could have been something there that didn't show up on camera. The video concludes with him running back to his car appearing very serious and frightened, with wide eyes and all, indicating that he most likely saw something weird. It seems that he would never like to go back, but the experience eats away at him until a week later, on September 10th, when he returns to satisfy his curiosity once and for all, this time with his friend Austin. By the time they arrive, it is dark. They walk over to the river because there isn't much going on near the old church. They don't listen to anything and aren't particularly scared, so they throw down the gauntlet of each other to sit in the darkness beneath the bridge, the same bridge where Nick first noticed something. And when their lights go out, they get in touch with each other.
You hear that?
When they switch on their lights to watch what's out there,
What the?
they notice this broad goblin-like face staring back at him, followed by a splash of water, as if something was jumping at them or reaching up from the depths below. They flee, and it flees with them. Even though I'm not sure what this thing is, after being disturbed twice, it makes up its mind to repay the favor. What you are going to see occurred on the same night. Nick notices movement at the back of the curtain wall and assumes it is his older brother Mark. Although it appears to be someone's hands, no one is present. Immediately, the air around him becomes very cold, cold enough that he can see his own breath. Which is strange because it isn't cold enough for him to see his breath when he's outside seeking Mark.
Oh.
Even though they should have finished going there by now, on September 18th, they will test again. This time, they discover something they were never meant to have after following these weird lights in the woods. This unassuming book has no title, but I'm curious about the weird binding. It appears to be a preservative ritual or even a curse on whoever opens it without permission. Nick takes it, and they go to look for something to eat. And it is only after that they begin to be followed even more closely than before. Nick and Austin have progressed a deleterious obsession with the Pleasant Mills Cemetery by this point. Even though it frightens them, it also draws them in, and they can't get enough of it. Perhaps something there is luring him back. Something that would like its book back.
What? Tired of this. Wait. What the?
And the more they pay a visit, the more powerful its attendance at home becomes. When you watch the picture before it drops down at 10 minutes and 28 seconds, I believe it's of Mark, the older brother who would soon vanish. On September 27th, Nick and Austin seem to discover that they dismiss but that I believe is significant. It's inside an old house they discover not far from the cemetery. The outside appears to have been set on fire a long time ago. They spy an area that appears to be a secret chamber when covered through a square hole in the floor. Even though they have a really bad feeling and would not like to go down, Austin makes a simple observation that I think speaks volumes.
Oh, it smells. Alright, we're wasting time. We gotta go.
It seems to be able to be mold, or be a body that hasn't been thrown into disorder in quite some time. Things seem really to become insane after they discover the possible body. By November 2nd, Mark disappears and no one knows where he went. Nick returns to the cemetery to seek his brother, and this final recording is what he finds. A tall figure with an all-white face goes close to him with a long tool in his hand. All I will tell is that it appears that Nick sorrowfully came face to face with the same fate as his brother. Thanks for checking out this video. Be sure to subscribe because I upload a new video every day. Or if you're still not convinced, here are some of my other videos that I think you'd like. Enjoy.